Alrighty, we should be live. Hopefully my internet doesn't die this week. Let's see. Testing 1, 2.
Mine says waiting for Wikipedia.
Yep, that means it should be booting up. Hello, anyone who's already here. We're doing a live stream, very special live stream. Oh, hey James. Yeah, so at least someone's here. Thank God. Not streaming to no one this week. Oh shit! Happy birthday, Cody. That's awesome. We got a very special live stream, as I've said repeatedly. Me and Aiden are going to play some of the fantastic Space Beast Terror Fright, and we have the wonderful Johno here, the actual developer of this fine game, to hang out, talk to the chat, answer questions about the game, and talk the design and everything like that. But whenever Aiden gets in, we're going to start running through the campaign of the week so that there's at least something going on. Hello, Chop.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't know you were already in.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just being very confused right now because I was hearing echoes and I realized, oh right, I'm doing Discord and I'm doing YouTube. So turn off the volume.
Yeah, what I usually do to check it is I have YouTube running in the background and then mute it so that I can...
yeah, okay, cool.
Because I need to have the chat open, which means having a video running somewhere. All right, you ready, Aiden?
Right.
Yep, I'm good to go.
So, Jono, why don't you, for the... Oh, God, I didn't mean to press that. For the people at home who have not played your game, or maybe just watched, like, the Let's Play or something like that, what would you say is the best, like, you know, two-sentence or paragraph summary of the game that you would... what's the elevator pitch for this game that you would give to people?
I think it's in the help screen. It's like 2 lines. It says basically it's a game about shooting lots of nasty aliens in claustrophobic environments.
That's a good way to put it.
I think that's what it
That's
says.
a perfectly good, succinct description of this game.
Oh, I didn't realize there's a breach already on this map.
I mean, it's not I guess it's not deep conceptually, but it's deep mechanically.
Right.
So all you have to know is if you like being scared and shooting nasty aliens, then yeah, cool, it's for you. It's very much an arcade game, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Piotr, yes, you can 100%.
Yeah.
John, do you have the chat open, or are you?
I do not have the chat open. I'm in full screen. But if you want to moderate and relay that stuff,
yeah,
that would be
Piotr,
great, yeah.
Absolutely. Ask questions in the chat, and I will relay them to Jono. Also, yes, James, this game is scary as hell the first time you play it, as evidenced by the LP, where Luigi is screaming his head off most of the time.
That's awesome.
The final part of the first session is actually going to come
that...
out today after this stream is over.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I watched the first time I played this. I felt it. My soul, my fear. I screamed more than once.
Yeah, I'd say for new players, what you're watching right now is the campaign of the week, which is it's deliberately smaller maps and, so to speak, easier maps, and then it ramps up in difficulty, doing random evil stuff to you. So that's probably a good way to, because there's sadly not really much of a tutorial yet. So you could start off playing campaign of the week, and it's going to be a little bit nicer to you.
Yeah, 100%. Campaign of the week is the first, I'd say, sure, having done a couple of these now, like the first 7 or 8 levels are really, really good starter levels. Hello, Sarah.
Yeah, I didn't like the first 5 levels for me were a breeze, and then that's when I started getting murked by aliens.
Yeah. Oh, that's a breach.
Right.
Oh, I
Good.
forgot that. I forgot the map was like this.
Just kill
certainly
it.
there's room for improvement. Like, I personally feel that maybe for my taste, the campaign it doesn't ramp up fast enough. But then again, like I've been playing this game for 5 years, so
yeah.
I guess I'm not representative of
Right.
the typical player. Like I love randomize all, but then when it just it's totally unfair and it just murders you.
Oh, that's what we're gonna do after this, 100%. But
Oh, I love randomize.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
hitting randomize all is just great. Okay, let's turn this.
So again, for new players, one of the things that makes it stand out from other shooters is really there's not really a health concept. It's like if the monsters touch you, they will kill you. Like they eat your face. And I think that harkens back to like being a young child. You know, you're playing with your friends and you play tag basically. Like, oh, I got you, and you lose. Like, I really like that dynamic. That there, it's just like, oh, there's one chance, and if you know, it's very clear in that way. It's not like, oh, the monster comes up to you and it hurts you for 30% of your health, and then you heal yourself. There are other aspects like that when it comes to suit damage and systems damage, but the main antagonists, who are like the set piece, the space beasts as they're called, yeah, they're supposed to be super lethal.
James in the chat is asking, this is a pretty easy question to answer, but what are some of the inspirations for movies and games for this? Obviously, Aliens is a big one. And I know that I can answer
James
that
Cameron's
part at least
Alien.
from talking to you the other day.
That's true.
Yeah, there is a tile set called Nostromo.
There is in there. Yeah, that's true. And there's also a tile set called Hadley, which is the blue one.
Hadley's Hope. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, James Cameron's Aliens, absolutely big inspiration. Like, I saw that first time when I was like 11, and probably use this expression a lot today. It melted my face off. It was like, it was like, it's such a perfect movie. And I think everybody who's into games can see how that movie has affected so many different titles.
Right.
Like, one of my favorites, Halo, not least, when it comes to design of the human forces and stuff. But yeah, that movie, obviously H.R. Giger's amazing monster design. But also, as Aiden very happily found out, is that it's very inspired by Warhammer 40k's Space Hulk board game, and also some of the interpretations of that. Vengeance of the Blood Angels PC game, Saturn game as well, like mid 90s.
Oh yeah, Aiden, I forgot to tell you, so Johno did play Vengeance of the Blood Angels, but he actually played it on PC, not Saturn.
I did learn that it was on PC. Also, it was on PlayStation as well.
Oh, really?
I did not know this, but I'm glad. So now I can play it again.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the main inspirations. Also, I guess, not really another game, but I for the longest time had this idea about the mechanic, which if you play it, you notice. Now in this case, are we watching? We're watching Tim's heads up display here. Yeah. He's got his stuff knocked out here, so some of the HUD is busted.
I wonder how that
But one of the main ideas was, what if you make a game where you put a player in a labyrinth, which they don't know, like a maze that's unique each time, and then you have them go in to get something, a needle in the haystack, but all you get initially is a distance to this thing. You don't get like a direction or anything. You just get a distance. So that's what the little number is, which we'll see in a moment, I suppose, if you get repaired. That says, oh, it's like 20 meters to your objective, and you sort of hot cold that to try to navigate your way around the labyrinth. That was the main idea. I was like, well, that's interesting to me. Like, how could you make a game around that? And then when it came to dressing it up, it's like, so what's this environment? Is it like a medieval labyrinth, or is it a stylized labyrinth? No, obviously it's a creepy space station, with monsters try to eat you.
Yeah.
Also, I think very James Cameron-esque is the idea that there's no clearing the level. There's no like, oh, I killed all the monsters, you win. No, it's like, no, they are legion, and you're supposed to be very much more scared and weak in this game than you would typically be in a shooter. So that's a little bit behind why the character design is the way it is. Like, I wanted them to be big and beefy, but I also wanted them to be a little bit, horrified and
yeah.
To sort of mirror the idea that it's about, like you said it very well, Tim, at some point you said it's about escape.
Yeah.
It's not about winning.
It's not about winning, yeah.
Oh, look at this map.
Oh, cool. So we have some labs, so we can try to find some scientists. Nice.
Yeah, and look at where the data cores are.
Oh, well. Sometimes you gotta do some work.
Oh, they're all the way. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Another good question from the chat from Piotr this time. And this is actually something I should have thought of to talk to you when we talked the other day. Have you thought of, or do you know of any way to incorporate what's it called, workshop support? Piotr points out that obviously you can't make a official Warhammer 40k game, but
God, dead.
And Aiden, tough guy Aiden, just killed himself already. Nice. But have you thought of, or do you know about any way to implement mod workshop support on Steam?
Well, I don't know if you're aware of there is, since pretty recently, there's the ability to build user maps.
Right.
And I'm sure everyone's pretty much aware of that. And that was sort of, that is, like logically, technically user-generated content. And when I was looking to like how to support that and specifically where to store that stuff, I obviously looked at the workshop stuff in the Steam APIs and SDK and all that stuff. And I found it to be a little bit heavyweight for the purposes, because what I was trying to do was just enable user maps, right?
Right.
In terms of, you draw the grid and you use the fixed tile sets and everything. And so for those purposes, the size of the maps is just so small. It's like under a kilobyte or whatever.
Right.
And I just felt that the workshop thing was more geared toward like total conversions and big gigantic file downloads and such. So for those purposes, workshop felt like the wrong choice. But I suppose extrapolating, if the question is, oh, we want to do new textures and new geometry
textures
and
models, yeah,
that kind of thing. I guess that's a little bit complicated to support because of the way the procedural generation works. Just like, for example, the way the geometry is built and all the texturing and all that stuff is done in a proprietary tool that I've built, and that piece of software is just way too complicated to put out there with the proper amount of support it would need. Sure, people are obviously smart and they're going to be able to learn it, but I'm not really, being a sole developer and everything, I'm not really comfortable with putting something like that out there and just looking at all the support that would entail.
Right. Okay. That's certainly a good reason. That's for sure. Also, Aiden.
But certainly, I was, it's sort of a halfway point. What I was thinking, like, yes, I want people to be able to be creative, and that's where the map editor comes from.
Right.
But because the game is sort of layered, you can do that sort of stuff pretty easily and integrate it in the game. Geometry, textures, tile sets, that kind of thing, it's a little bit harder. So I wanted to give some of that because I'm sure that it attracts a certain type of user who wants to be creative versus just play random maps all the time.
Right.
And really, honestly, the community feedback from that has been really great. Like I said to Tim, I think when I first released it, the back end now, it was like 30 maps in an hour, 200 maps in a week, something like that. So I don't even know how many maps are online now. It's almost overwhelming my simple search interface. So I was thinking of, perhaps like we talked about, maybe free text search, that kind of thing. Maybe more statistics on what maps you've played. You can make queues, that kind of thing. Because now it's like, I really want to play all the maps just to be able to see if I like them or not. And it's really to the point where I can't even remember which ones I played without even, having to write them down on a piece of paper. And so I was thinking that might be a good user experience thing to be able to mark which ones you played and which ones you've actually beaten, that kind of thing. So if you want to be a completionist about it.
Right. Yeah, Piotr, we're gonna finish this campaign, and then we're actually gonna open up my lobby to public, so anybody can join. Me and Aiden are just running through the campaign as far as we can go to start off the live stream, because we honestly weren't sure how
you're just running through the
I'm
campaign.
just running through because Aiden died to 2 aliens for no reason.
Wow. Okay.
Also, while we were talking, or while Johno was talking, I was also rescuing scientists in this game. That was not in the Let's Play because I didn't know that was a mechanic until I talked to Johno on Wednesday. So, yeah, any future Let's Plays will have us actually rescuing scientists.
You can see the progression of that in the lower right. Two science, ammo is still light, which is the starting ammo, but your reload rate, if you reload right now at the armory, for example, you'll notice that you're reloading at a faster rate.
I thought rate was fire rate, not okay. Reload rate makes a lot more sense.
Yep. Which maybe is bad program or no cookie. Maybe it should say reload rate or rearm rate instead of just rate.
Ooh, rearm rate would be perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
Oh, before I forget, because I actually meant to talk to you about this on Wednesday. What are the battery and battery recharge rate in the top left? Are those related to the flashlight?
Okay,
that was the best thing we could think of.
Let's talk about all of the maybe the HUD icons just to be completionist about it. So top left, you got the map, obviously, the little jigsaw puzzle up there.
Right.
With the various upgrades you can get. You can get, you know, floor mapping. You can get, what is it? See the doors and the barriers. See the cores. See the breaches.
See all the
blah, blah,
different
blah,
items you can interact with.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the stuff that shows up in that round motion tracker map combo in the bottom center of the screen. The next one is download rate or hack rate, which is all interactions with any kind of wall-mounted thingy. So starting sentries, repairing coolants, data cores. That's a really fun one if you get it down to 2 seconds. Before you start the next map.
Oh, sorry, shit. I did not mean to do that.
Okay.
Sorry,
I was thinking for Aiden's sake,
no,
you should increase the reinforcement count.
Ouch!
Damn,
Ouch!
shots
Okay.
fired.
Right?
No,
Wow.
We're gonna go ham now.
Get destroyed, Aiden.
Okay. No, I mean, we were talking about that as well, and that I'm trying to be inclusionist here because, you know, that was why I added that feature. A lot of people didn't like it who were hardcore, but I was thinking that whenever I played with some of my friends who don't really like shooters so much, who were being nice to me and helping me test, it was like they would always die, and then I would, you know, to be nice to them, I would exit out of the mission so they could keep playing. So I'm thinking that that's why it's there, so you can sort of adjust to skill levels and be inclusionist and let your friends help you out, you know.
Aiden, you have the worst luck with these scientist holes.
That is the second science door that I've opened that had an alien behind it. Sorry, third.
No,
The other one was yesterday.
Props to you, Aiden, that you survived those encounters because a lot of people don't.
Oh god.
Maybe we should have increased the reforce count for Tim.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Tim, if you can go full screen on yeah,
Yep,
we were
already
talking
did it.
about the
Don't worry.
icons. Yeah, so after the download rate, the next one is your battery recharge rate.
Okay.
So what that means is 2.5 means that you will recharge 2.5 seconds of battery life per second when you're interacting with some computer or you're actually standing next to a breaker. And standing next to breakers is actually free. So you just have to stand there. You don't even have to look at it or anything. So that's a really good thing for your battery.
Oh, so breakers aren't just for turning power back on.
They're
Oh my God,
they're
there
sort
it
of
is.
electrical,
Yeah, wow.
right? Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's so cool.
and the next icon, the last one on the left side, is your actual battery life. And you probably noticed that, yeah, you notice now that your battery is charging there.
Yep.
The 60 there is you have 60 seconds of battery life, mainly for your flashlight, right? So now you
Okay.
got a maximum, and your flashlight is pretty wide and it's pretty bright. And what it does when it goes down to 0 is it like the field of view goes down and then it turns red. It never
Yes.
completely turns off, but it goes to red. And that's just like a mood piece.
Oh, totally.
originally
it
in
works
the-
great.
Yeah, originally in the game there was only the flashlight, which you must understand was completely horrible. There was no lights at all in the map
Oh,
except for a
God.
flashlight. So that's sort of where that came from. And that's harkens to the scene in Aliens where they cut the power and everything is like red light. It's like super moody.
Right.
I guess people have argued like nowadays, because there's so much other light in the map, maybe the battery concept of the flashlight isn't as important. But I guess it certainly helps when you have really, really high upgraded battery life, which you never get down to the red state. So that's still in there.
I think it would be cool if the way it worked was your flashlight automatically turns on if the power goes out, and then it starts counting down. But if the power isn't out, then
Sure.
then your battery doesn't tick down. Because like right now, I don't, like you said, I don't really need my flashlight while the power is running. But as soon as the power turns off, that's when you want it. Because then
Yeah,
the ticking
but
down
it's also
battery
the
is a
case
lot more
that-
terrifying.
Yeah, I totally agree. But it's also the case that some of the newer passes on level styles or tile sets, they're significantly darker. There's less light in them, so that might be an issue. That stuff isn't really completely balanced. Like this one is relatively. It's also the case when you have a lot of fences and a lot of doors, like you have right now. You're gonna get more ambient light in the maps, right?
All right, I am sitting at the map menu before we go into the next map.
Yeah. And going. Okay, I guess the video is a little bit lagged from
Yeah,
our conversation here, obviously.
The live
Yeah.
stream is usually about 30 seconds behind.
Yeah. So the next icon going over to the right side there is the first one is your infravision or night vision or whatever, your predator
That's which
vision,
one
whatever
it
you want
is.
to call
Okay.
it. Yeah. Give him. Are you gonna give him reinforcements now or what?
I think 2 is fine. I did not realize it goes all the way up to 64. Wow. That
Yeah,
is a
it's one
lot
of those
reinforcements.
two to the power of a bit or something like that.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
it is. Yeah.
This map. So, Aiden, we'll go out. I'll turn right. You go straight. And you take care of the security room and all those data cores, and I'll go try to find some scientists.
Sure, you got it.
Secure the reactor. Okay.
Okie dokie.
Another
So, yeah,
question from chat.
Continuing on about the icons.
Oh yeah, let's finish.
Okay,
the
we'll
icons
go.
first.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, no. Go
Okay,
ahead.
we'll do. Okay.
The rest are pretty self-explanatory. So.
Remember that? Okay, cool. Infravision, which if you have that upgrade, you can. There's some sort of there's a couple of different options of the look and feel of it, but it's like the Predator sort of heat view, which sort of helps because it cuts through the darkness.
Yes, that is the one I believe we all use.
Yeah. And it has different fidelities. It's also affected by the battery. It originally drained the battery much faster. No longer the case, but it's better when you have max battery, and it's sort of more blurry and noisy when you have lower battery.
Interesting.
And that's also
okay.
affected. It's also affected by your upgrade because it goes from 1 to 4, and the 4 is the clearest and has the most color differentiation and stuff. So it's a little bit clearer.
Interesting.
Next, I'll go a little bit faster. Next one is max ammo capacity. You're at 500, so you have the lowest. It goes all the way to 900. The next one is the motion tracker, which you start off with just distance. So it's got that little pulse going on, which doesn't do anything in the map right now. But you'll get a text warning with like up to 10 meters if there's motion, and it'll blink and it'll do the pulsing of the field of view. The next one there upgraded is you get short range. So to 10 meters, you actually see blips that correspond to that shockwave that's going out.
Oh, thank God.
Long range is you get them beyond the range of 10 meters, so you'll have them like clustered around the edge. So you'll see sort of concentrations of where the motion is. And the last one is you'll actually be able to see where the scientists are. So you can actually.
That's what the little human icon is. Okay.
Yeah. So even at the longest range, you can see that because they're color coded in the same color as your HUD. So if you see like motion blips that are in your case red,
yes,
like right now when he's running behind you, then you'll see. And in that case, when you have that one,
that color doesn't. Color changes for everybody. Interesting.
Yeah, because like the white is bad stuff. Like that's the monsters or whatever. And I needed something that was different. One thing when you have the scientist's motion tracker upgrade, you'll even see them when they're not moving. Because if you stop moving and he stops moving, then you won't see them.
He's not tracking.
Because it's a
cool.
motion.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then the last one finally is
scientist, I'll bring it
Pathfinders.
back.
The Google Maps icon there that's Pathfinders. So it will give you an icon to the next sort of like it's the shortest path system. So and it takes corridor turns and stuff into account. So you just follow those little icons. I see you got the coolant finder now, which is blue. So if you walk towards it, it'll guide you to the nearest one, and you also see, in this case, you got the objective distance as well. And you can get everything from airlock to repairs, sentries, reactor, armory, data core. So it becomes the game goes from minimalist information to a lot of support systems that can potentially help you survive.
Damn it, we're still
motion tracker obviously is one of the good ones. But also all of these systems can get knocked out in various ways. You down in the bottom right, you have your sort of electronic systems, infravision, weapon display, icons, tracker, lamp, and text. Those can all get knocked out by non-fatal damage, like walking through fences, getting zapped, getting shot. But you can also lose your upgrades, and that's sort of a random thing. If you get damaged, you might lose your precious motion tracker. And that's sort of the idea of that was sort of like a progression system. So there's always the risk. And there's always the ability to get these things back.
By the way, for those at home, you can notice that now my flashlight is in fact the creepy red mode because my battery is technically dead. But now it's recharging. Hooray! Because I'm turning on coolant.
No, it's not.
Turning off coolant.
Now it's recharging. Oh wait, sorry, I'm lagged.
No, it's okay. Yeah, the stream is still like 30 seconds behind. It's okay.
Okay. We had a question coming in while I was talking.
There are actually a couple. James, in the future, will you add more content, like more set campaigns that don't rotate, or maybe a little bit of story and things like that, or more game modes. And this is definitely something we talked about the other day.
Well, I think when it comes to, like, I like the idea of set campaigns. I was actually thinking that could probably potentially be a user content thing. People are building maps obviously now, and I've even seen in the database that some people will make maps and call them, this is part 1, this is part 2, part 3, so to speak. I think that would be really cool to be able to make like a campaign designer. So you build all your missions, and you make all the settings for those. And then it's a pretty simple matter to say, I'm going to string these missions together, and I want this to be a campaign, and I want to call it something, right? And then you could track, at least locally, you could track, oh, I completed this campaign. And that's similar to the campaign of the week, obviously, where the campaign of the week is obviously, it's procedurally generated, but it changes every week. So yeah, I think I would defer to the community, because I guess I don't really have the time to be building campaigns all the time.
Right.
But if the community's interested, I'm sure that's not a lot of work for me to support. So I think that would be a really cool thing if people like that idea of something that's set and they can come back to it and they can cut their teeth on it.
Right. Let's see. Next question. John says, "Thank you for the game."
You're very welcome.
Regarding how everything started and minimal viable product in quotes, you should mention the very first demo. Was there something interesting about
That's
the
actually
first
probably
demo
still online somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably yeah.
I saw you have a demo
Yeah,
available
that was,
on your website. I didn't download it and play it, but I saw it. That's there.
Yeah, I think it's probably for you, Tim. It might be interesting to see, like, because it is a little bit different. I played it not so long ago. It does feel a little bit different. But yeah, the question was about Origins.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like?
It
Yeah.
was basically how much has the I don't know if there was so much a question or just a comment, but I can kind of turn it into how has the game changed and evolved over the last few years? Because obviously you've been working on this for 5 years now.
Yeah.
Also, can scientists get hit by the laser gate? That's a quick question from me.
I think let's.
All right.
I can test this.
Let's test this.
Yeah,
he's in the laser gate. It won't turn on.
Oh, I can't turn it on.
Yeah.
It won't let me turn it on. Interesting.
Yeah, I think they might automatically turn them off. That's something
That's
that
hilarious.
Before I answer the Origins thing, I think that's something that I might want to change, so that they don't. Because sometimes when you're backing down a corridor with a scientist behind you, and you turned on a laser gate for a very good reason, then he backs through it, turns it off, and then an alien comes behind you. So that there's issues with that. But yeah, but Origins, yeah, I think from a super high level, it's not hugely different from the demo. The demo was very playable and is very playable, and it's still sort of get the data cores, get their coolant, and then get out. But sure, fidelity, weapons, the fences, the sentries. No, the sentries were there from the beginning. The repairs, the electronic systems. There's a lot of, fidelity and subtlety to it that makes it obviously better to play now. There was no multiplayer in the original. There was not even any co-op, split screen, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you want to try before you buy, then certainly you're going to get the feel of it from the demo.
Gotcha. Sarah, I can answer that question.
So,
the sentries do 100% run out of ammo eventually.
Yeah, I think they have 400 or something from the beginning.
Yes. Yep.
You can actually read it if you stop to read.
No, yeah, it's on screen just as we're talking, but yeah, the stream will catch up. But yeah, it says right when you take over 400. Let's get some battery. I don't like this flashlight.
And they don't actually try to shoot you. Sometimes that happens, but they try not to.
Oh, it's definitely happened in the Let's Play. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Got another good question from Piotr, asking a lot of good ones. You spent so much time and care in development of this great game. Maybe it's time to make DLC and focus on other features to try to bring in additional income. Obviously, you probably can't develop this game forever without, finding some other way to add income to it.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, it's so funny if you read the blurb about early access. Like, why are you in early access?
Mm-hmm.
And how long do you expect to be in early access? So in April of 2015, we said, yeah, we'll be in early access for 6 months.
And
it's
here
like,
we
yeah.
are.
So and like I'm not gonna apologize or say that I failed or anything. That's not the case. I don't feel that way. But it's the case that because this is like a solo development project and this was like the real big break for my company. A lot of things happened in the interim that forced me for about 2 years from like mid 2016 to mid 2018 to not work on the project in any great capacity. There were some updates, but I think some people noticed that at the lowest point, so to speak, there was like 9 months between updates, something like that. That was never my intention, but you know, you got to pay your rent and all that kind of stuff. So I was doing some other stuff in between, which was a great learning experience as well. I did some virtual reality stuff, which was cool.
Ooh, cool.
But since mid 2018, I was able to get back on it full time, and that was really a watershed, I think, because that was the time when you know, I was talking to my accountant and he's like laughing at me because like, why aren't you working on Nornware full time? And like, what do you mean? Well, have you checked your bank account? And I'm like, well, actually I haven't, because I was just assuming it would never work. That's why I was working at other jobs and stuff. But during those 2 years when I was off it, the community, basically by word of mouth, had been growing, and
cool.
it was just so amazing to see, like, oh my God, this is actually gonna work, you know.
Nice. Hey,
So I'm so thankful. Right. I'm so thankful for that, and it's just been so validating to be like, oh my God, now I'm gonna put my heart and soul into this and really, you know, to begin with, finish this product and then keep going. But I guess it's been taking, even after mid 2018, it's been taking longer than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right at this point, I've been saying this a lot in the forums as well. This game it's very close to done. The main thing that I'm working on right now is I'm looking at improving the quality of the netcode and multiplayer even further, because there are some artifacts that I think people have noticed and that I personally don't like very much.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, I've been doing a lot of research and simulation of that. It looks very promising. As soon as possible, I'm gonna field that and see if it improves.
Nice.
Obviously, there's always the option of going back to like what we have today. But then after that, it's like 1,000 quality of life little tiny fixes,
right,
which I need to go through and see, you know, which ones are in, which ones are out. And then to properly answer the question, yeah, I've been talking quite a bit about the idea of a sequel, because for several reasons. One of the reasons is that this game, I think it works in all its simplicity. It works very well, and I don't want to mess it up, because I have a bunch of ideas for a sequel that may or may not change the feel. So I was thinking the best way to get all the positives out of that is to allow there to be several products, you know. So I'm very, very amped about a sequel. I mean, I can't commit to anything at this point, but I really have some specific ideas that I want to try out, and I think it could be really good. So that's certainly with like in during this year, during 2020, they'll definitely start work on a sequel of this, and of course, you know, take care of the community of this game, obviously, and make sure that everything works and do quality of life fixes as they come up.
Man, still more questions coming in. James, I think we've established that workshop isn't really going to happen for this game, but he does ask, any plans for more guns?
I would probably say probably not.
Really? Okay.
I mean, I think the game. There's been, I don't know if you know, followed in the forums, but in the beginning, when you could only select one weapon, there was a lot of contention about the balance of the weapons, and I think that we finally arrived at the fact that because the game is so twitchy and requires that you can react with lightning reflexes, that's why the rifle was so good, and that's basically what the game was designed around. The fact that there were other weapons at all were like a knee-jerk reaction to, like, shooters have several weapons and you choose between them.
Gotcha.
For example, it's kind of amazing that Tim is playing with the shotgun, which is kind of a ballsy move, because it's you might get into a situation where you shoot one and then you need to shoot the next one. He doesn't really have the time between the reload of the gun. But like, to answer the question, I think the game doesn't really. I don't really feel that the game actually needs more than one weapon. but like because I'd put them in there, and I felt like the loadout thing with the 2 weapons sort of fixed the problems of the differences in the contention between the weapons. Tim made a good point. Like now that there is a loadout, you could actually make the alternate weapon, if you want to call it that, even more different, like flamethrowers and grenade launchers and such.
Yeah.
I would have to, put the stamp of the sequel on that one. Like certainly for the sequel, like I like the double weapon idea. It's very Halo. It's very modern shooter. Certainly for the sequel, then you start talking about like grenade launchers and flamethrowers and I don't know, laser guns and sticky bombs and all that kind of stuff. That might be fun from a tactical standpoint.
Gotcha.
Now that the problem of you need a rapid response weapon like the Razor or the rifle, or the shotgun.
Oh my God, why is this turned off? Aiden, you didn't
but
reseal
yeah,
the lab after you.
That's sort of my take.
I didn't even come through that way. That wasn't me. Also, I did just notice something. So the science and the weapon upgrades are persistent even through death.
Yes.
Interesting.
Someone has been surviving. I guess that's Tim who's been surviving.
We have not both been dead at once.
At this point,
we've both died, but there has not been. Oh my God, that was the worst timing.
That's a comment for. Yeah, that's a comment for the way the campaigns work. It's a party effort. So as long as somebody survives, then you continue in the campaign. If both players die, then they'll fail the campaign, and that's when the mission resets to 1. So and that's why it's so painful to play the campaign because all your great progress can be wiped out like with one mistake.
Right. I think you just took damage from the ricochet off that shield. Over
I
there.
did.
Off that laser.
I'm repairing. Hold up.
Let's see.
So are you guys?
No, go ahead.
Are you guys feeling the difference? Because I guess you have magenta ammo now.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's medium ammo, I guess. It's...
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah.
It definitely feels a lot more weighty.
Which is super awesome.
Oh, cool. Just wait until you get the green ammo. If you get that far, then you'll be laughing at the aliens instead. It's light, medium, heavy, ultra.
Oh my God, I've never seen Ultra. That sounds... Oh my God.
Well, now we have a goal.
Because yesterday, me and Luigi went through one of the user-created 100% maps, and we got up to Heavy, and I was like, oh,
right.
Light, medium, heavy. Of course Heavy's the end, but if there's Ultra, holy shit, do I want to see Ultra.
Yeah, for those who... Yeah. You go ahead.
Go ahead. I got another question from chat, so we can finish this.
I was just going to say that for those of you who've been around from the beginning, there was another ammo system originally, and that was all the different ammo types were there, but your gun could carry. They had like four repositories of ammo, so you could have all the different kinds at once, and it would prioritize you. If you had some ultra, you would shoot that, and then you would shoot heavy, and so on and so forth. And all the armories would have different kinds of bullets in them. And that was contentious because somebody who's smarter than I am figured out that if you find an armory with green, which is ultra, you just shoot all your light bullets into the floor, so you can get more ultra ammo. And I was like, wow, I would never have thought of that. But it became a problem because the design was conducive to that. So that was obviously the best way to play. And I was like, people like that, we don't want that to happen. And I'm like, yeah, totally. I don't want that to happen either. But why wouldn't you do that if you want to win the game and increase your survivability?
Hey, I'll go straight, you go right.
Okay.
So that got fixed when, and that's sort of another story, but when rescue mode got merged into the normal mode, when all the modes disappeared.
Right.
That's when the science idea showed up. That's what the scientists are for. They're for upgrading your ammo. And I think it sort of solved the problem, at least in some way. It doesn't have that. There was a little bit more dynamism, I guess, to it when you could all of a sudden happen upon, oh, here's some green ammo, and then for a time you were a little bit more powerful. I really like that idea, but then again, there was no great solution for the min-maxing, for the I just want to dump it,
Right.
But maybe that will return in some way, shape, or form. I think my inspiration for that originally was like old arcade games where you could get these time-limited power-ups.
Right.
Where you have 3-way shot for 20 seconds. That sort of idea. That was sort of the idea of it. And maybe something like that could make its way into sequel. Bouncy bullets, even more bouncy.
Oh God, more than one ricochet.
Oh, if we need more bouncy.
Get Oh,
So the ammo type affects the fire rate, I see. Medium seems to
Yeah,
be
that's-
shooting a little bit slower.
Yeah, that's true. That's legacy as well. That just it's the numbers that it was originally, and I think that was sort of an idea of balance. That oh yeah, when you get the super high one, you don't shoot as fast.
wait, Aiden, there's three
some
more,
pe-
two more in there. Go.
Some people have argued that no longer should apply, but
No, I think it's fun to. It gives
I don't
it
know.
even more than like the damage that it's hard to kind of feel at times when you're just spraying and running around. You can feel fire rate difference a lot more immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Yeah.
Sampler Info expanded upon his comment about the origins of the game a little more. He said, "Ask Johno about the very first draft with sobbing coin scientists."
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Sampler Info is an old friend of mine. Great
Oh,
designer.
nice,
by the
we got
way.
heavy, we got
we
blue.
should pressure him. We should pressure him into finishing a game that he sort of half finished with me. Let's pressure him into that. No, let's not talk about that. Yeah, the spinning, the weeping coins. That was like when way back in the day. We're talking like 15 years ago.
Wow.
It's that old. It's really that old. There was the labyrinth there, and it was dark and it was moody, and you know the idea of finding the needle in the haystack with just distance information. The thing you were finding was like, I found this sample from some game of like a weeping woman, and you'd hear it through the walls, like oh over there, like 20 meters away, there's someone you should rescue. And obviously I was thinking that it should be like some very scared person, but I didn't have graphics for that, so I just had like some low like pixel arty spinning coin animation, so that's why it was weeping coins.
That's
So
amazing.
the mood was there. The mood was there up until you found the thing, and it's like, what the hell is this? But that's game dev internals for you. Like sometimes you do prototypes and you have proxies and you have like non-finished art assets. And for me, definitely, being a technical person and a designer, like what I am the least is an artist. So
Right.
sometimes you have to in your prototypes you have to just make things work. And that's really a valid way to work, because it's more important to get the feel of the thing than to have perfect art to begin with,
Right, totally.
because it's like in movies, like that's why they push off sending this stuff to Industrial Light and Magic until the very, very last cut of the movie, because if this super expensive scene is 10 seconds versus 2 seconds, that's a lot of cost different, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be building high fidelity stuff if you might throw it out,
Piotr, another good question. What about, have you thought about adding different kinds of rooms to the map editor? Obviously, there's like the room where's the security, or the map room that we've talked about, and obviously there's the science labs. Have you thought about creating tile sets for other room types and adding them to the map editor?
Not really, because it's people are gonna kick me for this, but it's down a little bit to like the use of texture memory, because the more unique textures you have, the bigger the load. I don't think the geometry is a problem. It's kind of low fidelity. It's probably not a problem, given that people these days have like 8 gigabytes of video memory and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm not really feeling like I have a need for anything else. There is actually in the map editor, there is like an alternate wall style that you can use quite successfully to get a lot of variation, because every tile set has the main walls and an alternate one. You see it less in the computer generated maps because it happens only in special cases.
Oh,
But
interesting.
basically you have 3. You have the main walls, the alternate walls, and then you have the lab tile set. You have those to play with. So no, I don't really expect to expand upon that, because I don't really have a functional need for that.
Gotcha.
And I totally respect that when you open the can of worms that is like user maps and the tendency for people who want to design maps to have more of like a story mentality or like an agenda, then I understand that. But this game, this is sort of like, oh, that was relatively easy to add.
Thanks, Aiden.
Sorry.
I think that's the state of it.
Right.
I think for ouch.
Yeah.
Killed by Isaac Hassan.
Cut down in my prime.
Oh, I killed you?
Yes, that's why I said thanks.
Oh, I thought I
Very
just
sarcastic.
shot you in the back.
No, yeah, you did, and it killed
was
me.
pretty dope.
But to On a more positive note, I think one of the main goals that I have personally for a sequel is much richer worlds, like much more variation. That's one of the main things, because I'm getting kind of tired of the fact that these are like rectilinear corridors all in one level, right? That's the main thing, and that's even been discussed for this project. Like, what happens if you could do like high ceilings and wall, like stairwells and elevators and pits into the floor and that kind of thing. I just deemed it to be potentially too disruptive for this product, and I just want to keep the simplicity of this one. But definitely, that's one of the main motivations for me for the next one. Like, what would happen if you're like in these cramped corridors and you come into this giant room with like vaulting ceilings, and you look up and it's all dark up there, and then you start realizing that blip on your motion tracker that looks like it's in front of you is actually above you.
That would be
right?
awesome.
And the implications of the monsters crawling all over the walls and the ceilings and coming up from pits, that like it just makes me very happy to think about those kinds of scenarios. So that's I think the way that the maps are being built, all the tile sets, all of that stuff needs to be reevaluated for the next one to enable that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I maybe that doesn't make you happy to say like sequel in the future, but I'm really adamant about getting that to work. I think that would make for an amazing just step up from this, and it will be. I think it'll be feel different enough as well when you can get these more expansive maps. And the problems, like what happens if you lean against the railing and you fall down into a pit and die, and there are staircases, and and just the general 360ness of you have to look up and down instead of just back and forth.
Oh, you've got a scientist.
Yeah, I do.
You might as well get him out.
Maybe he'll give us Ultra.
Oh, no, go follow Aiden. Stop following me. Here, Aiden,
No,
take your
he
scientist
stole him.
back. Aiden, take your scientist back. I don't want him. Damn it.
Dad, you got to take him back to the airlock, man.
Oh my god.
He's yours now. He's your pet.
I gotta say, the animation of the scientists running after you, like just with their arms like wide, but it's kind of like a slow-mo scared run, is really hilarious looking. Also, they do not.
Oh yeah, that's like scaling.
They clearly don't have a concept of personal space, because they get very close to you.
Oh, I think he wants to basically cuddle up next to you and like, please save me from this thing,
I think if it was possible, he would jump on for a piggyback ride and be like, "Take me back to the armory, to the spawn point, horsey."
Yeah, I can get sort of like irritated with myself from a technical standpoint, because, oh look, the animation speed is scaled for the speed he's running, but he still snaps between arms out and arms down. Like, give me a break. Like, I need to interpolate that as well.
I will say, Piotr, I can see why a lot of people would treat this game as a horror game. Our buddy Luigi is the guy from who was in the LP. He is like worldwide ranked he has been at times for Dead by Daylight, and that's a very horror-themed action game, obviously. And he absolutely adores this game, also. Oh, now he's your problem again.
Yeah, well, the turret shot him, so.
Oh.
I'm thinking of something now. Piotr, are you Piotr who worked at Massive back in the day, just by any chance?
Oh, sweet, another Massive guy.
It is, isn't it?
Ha! I can secretly turn this into a ground control live stream.
Oh God.
Yeah. But is that the case? I'm not looking at the chat right now.
He said no.
He said nope.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Because I think that was the nickname of the dude who did a lot of level design on the original ground control, and on the second one too.
Oh. Just random Peter from Community.
Yeah.
He's just a fan of your video game.
I mean, for your sake, Tim, with your ground control nerdiness, you should really talk to that dude.
God,
if you can find him.
You know, I actually started replaying after we talked, and I made it all the way through Craven in like 2 days. And I was just running around as the Order a little bit, and I moved back to Ohio and everything like that, so I kind of lost time. But yeah, after we talked about it, I reinstalled both games and started playing through again.
Yeah, that's why we're here today, everybody, because Ground Control, if some of you might know it, it's like a strategy game released 20 years ago, almost exactly 20 years ago, and because of the anniversary, I was nerding out and being nostalgic a little bit, and I couldn't really get anybody to be as nostalgic as I was, and I was being a little bit lonely. And then I was like, what if there's like a let's play of these games? And then I found Team Pidia's stuff, and he was so obviously like, it was his childhood love, and I'm like, this is a guy I should talk to. And then we had this amazing conversation, just geeking out about old Massive and the games and the pros and cons and everything. So thank you very much again, Tim. That was really great.
No, thank you for reaching out. That was a super fun conversation. Look where it got us. We talked about that.
Yeah.
We ended the conversation talking about Space Beast, and now we're doing a live stream of it.
Yeah. Just a comment there, Tim. There's some etiquette when it comes to like running to the airlock. You should like stand in the doorway and keep the door open for
Hell
your friend.
no.
Like hold the door, please.
Hell no. He can find his own way.
I hold the door open for you, Tim.
Last mission, you killed me.
It was an accident.
Well, I accidentally forgot to hold the door. Oh, fuck.
Oh, it's fine. There's
What-
3
are you-
sentries in this room.
Why do you only have 2 data cores on this one?
That's a
I
good
don't know.
question.
What the fuck just shut? Did
That's
you just shoot me
interesting,
again?
random.
It was a ricochet. I'm
Oh my-
not doing it on purpose.
Mm,
There was another level earlier too that only had 2 data cores. Actually, the first map, which I was gonna mention it, but I just completely forgot about it. The first mission didn't have data cores at all.
oh my god.
Yeah, I think that's sort of that was my thought, that like to make the map smaller and not as much stuff. I think one of the main things that drives the algorithm, all the randomization, is just the number of floor tiles. So I just made it smaller, but it's like one of those things that sort of, once removed, you're like, oh, I'm a game designer and I'm gonna make a bunch of maps, but I'm not making the maps.
Oh my-
I'm making the algorithm that makes the maps. So
What the
there's
fuck?
a lot of strangeness to that. And I
Gotcha.
think if I had more resources, then I'd put somebody on, like, really tweak the algorithm for. Wow, you got eaten.
Yeah, I kept
Uh,
shooting and they kept jumping on my face, so that was a lot of them.
Yes, there are a
Yeah,
lot
I think
here. Oh God, there are a lot.
Sarah, you know
Yeah,
it's
so, I
funny
mean,
you say that. Sorry, real quick, because Sarah just brought this up. So
Yep.
the game, this live stream is not advertised on the actual store page for the Steam, but if you actually go into the discussions, just yesterday, Johno put up a post there saying that we were going to do this stream. So there is, while it's not on the store page for the game, it is definitely actually out there that this was going to be a Hang with the Dev live stream.
We gotta go through there for the next day.
Oh, I know, that's where I fucking died. Here is my corpse. We're standing on it.
Everybody, I apologize for my complete lack of like marketing and social media skills. I'm really bad at that stuff. I just figured out really late or early this morning for me how to do that actual live stream thing, because Steam has some really great support for doing announcements and such. But yes, I have seen that stuff when devs are playing that sort of live streaming stuff that you see on the store page. I don't even know how to do that. I guess it's time to figure out how to do that for the next one. So thanks
Perfect.
for that.
That means there will be a next one, so that'd be perfect.
That's what. Yeah, I mean,
Oh my God,
that's
my-
what's so great with you, Tim. You actually have YouTube experience, and you actually like this game. So I think I can piggyback a little bit on your experience with
Sure.
this.
Happily. Also, I fucking died again.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you guys got to start concentrating now, or maybe you need some help. If somebody in the community could maybe join
I
the
mean,
party.
if Aiden dies, we're gonna go to random all and have the community start joining. So,
Because
there's
now
so
at this
many.
point you're on.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I have
what's
one
sad-
more reinforcement, I think. Okay, I'm back again.
Yeah, like that's another thing. Like, look at the heads-up display. You see, it says mission 4, but that's not mission 4 of the campaign. That's mission 4 for that character. Yeah, now it says
okay.
mission 1. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
now-
it doesn't
yeah.
say how many reinforcements total you have left. So I think the heads-up display needs some love when it comes to campaign of the week, because there's more information that you need to know.
Oh my God, how can I make it past these 2 fucking breaches? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I put up 2 laser gates that if you go directly to the right,
Oh.
I'm dead.
I accidentally stepped into one of the laser
think,
gates. God, there's no repair.
Tim, I think this is the time you need to consider some kind of rapid-fire weapon.
Oh God,
No?
no, go away. I'm gonna so die. I'm
There's so
so
many.
dead. I can't even see. It's so dark. Oh
Just
God,
don't die
there's
for
no.
3 seconds.
Turn on the light.
Don't die for 3 seconds.
I'm alive. I'm alive. Oh.
Okay.
Oh. I made it to the security room. I have no HUD. I have no flashlight.
Yeah, this spawn rate is wild. There are so many.
I can't. Where even is a repair?
Hey,
Is it
look
all
at
the way
the.
over there. Oh my god.
Hey, try to get that scientist who's in that room with all the monsters in
Yeah,
it.
totally. Oh my god. I can't even. Oh my. I see your bullets, Aiden.
Dude, I just kept shooting, and
I'm just
Yeah,
watching them run into the security gate. Okay, I moved forward 2 inches.
Hey,
okay.
okay, Tim. I'm gonna alleviate some. Or do you still want to moderate the questions, or is that
Oh
too
no,
stressful
sure.
for you? Right now?
There's actually no one has any questions. Actually, there is one.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool. Yep.
James has one. Will there be more aliens added? If not in this game, then in the sequel, like and I'm dead. Sweet. All right, so now we're gonna open up the party and do some randomized alls, and anyone can join in. Me and Aiden are just chilling in here. Sorry. Like in Left 4 Dead, there are heavy alien types that are like a heavy or a brute or a guy that shoots acid with a ranged attack or something like that.
I don't think for this one, it's even to the point in this one that my attempt at an alternate alien, the little Aster creeps, they're not universally loved. So I think for this one, it's gonna be simple, but potentially, definitely for the next one because I think that's a big part of shooters, that like the dynamics of how the weapons work versus the way that the AIs work individually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think definitely I need to look into some more variation. I mean, there's going to be the staple space beast, obviously, but
Right.
I have some ideas I'd rather not talk about because I think they're so evil and dastardly and potentially horrifying. So I can hint, like, think about verticality, right? Think about walking in out of a cramped corridor and then into a high vaulting room, and you look up and and you have a crappy flashlight because cheap ass space scientists, and think of all the things that could come from above, and think about spiders.
Oh God,
On
no!
threads and
Stop.
things.
We're done.
Yeah.
I'm never streaming
Okay.
this
So
game
think
ever
about stuff
again.
like that.
Fuck.
That's what I'm thinking about. I personally, I'm not a fan of spiders, so I was thinking that would be a really good thing for me.
I was never actually able to beat the Forest Temple as a child in Ocarina of Time because of the wall masters dropping from the ceiling. I hate those things.
It's just
they
so
scare the hell out of me.
unnatural, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
oh god, it gives me shivers even now.
James, there is no mic support in game. What might happen is either later or next stream we're gonna open it up to mic chat with the public. But for now, for this one at least, and for now, I think we're just gonna keep it to us three doing mic chat so it doesn't get a little too loud and crowded in here. But for a later one, for
you
sure.
can.
We'll do that.
I'm watching full screen the stream now, so if you want to type in the party chat or the public chat, I'll be able to read that. So I guess that's one vector.
Sarah just has a nice comment. I see a ton of potential in this game. SBTF is a super solid base, and I can't wait to expand it on. And yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
Thank you so much. That's so kind.
William Churchill, will it come to console? Wow, that's ambitious.
I would love it to be on console, but consoles are still like a regulated platform, right?
Right.
It's like they're owned by the big three, right?
All right, we got a full party.
I don't have any. I don't know anybody, at Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo.
Oh, good. The power's out.
So I don't really have those connections. I guess I know people who do a lot of console ports and stuff, but I think it's really the case that actually,
oh my God, where is a breaker?
I'm such a lonely. So I don't really know how to go about that. And then of course it's a question of resources as well.
Right.
But I mean, hello Microsoft, hello Sony, hello Nintendo. I'm a really nice guy, and this is a really good game. Why don't we talk about that? And that would be awesome, The game has split screen. It has like couch co-op. Think about that. So yeah, let's do it. That's my comment.
So for those playing right now, we have 25 data cores, and the power was out at the start, and who knows if we're going to have power outages. So this is going to go great.
Oh, well, we're
James,
gonna
don't
find
worry
out
about
eventually.
not knowing what guns to pick because, honestly, just play with whatever feels fun. Like,
And
like Johno was talking
honestly,
about, I like shotgun, but most people seem to prefer the assault rifle. So just
if you
want to
be good, you'll pick the assault rifle.
How? Who even asked you?
So Aiden, what's your loadout? Is it rifle and shotgun, or what is it?
It is assault rifle, shotgun. Yes. I never use the
Okay,
shotgun.
Yeah. That
Wow.
yeah.
Man, this map, we have
What
a lot
you-
of doors and nothing else.
Yep.
This is,
Yeah, randomize all, for those who don't know, it's me being a little bit bored with
Oh,
the game,
one
and
fence,
it turned out
thank
really well. It randomizes all the map settings, so you might be unlucky and not have any sentry guns. You might not have any doors, which is a huge problem because then everybody can see you everywhere. But also, what's interesting about the mode is that some of the rules are mutated in real time, so you can go from really slow spawn rates to really fast spawn rates. Power outages mutate.
Someone's dead.
Lots of weird things like that.
Was
there's
that
a
you
power
who just
outage.
died?
Yeah, it was me. I just died because the power went out,
my
and
God.
I turned around.
I know we
and then
passed
there
a
was an
breaker in this
alien on
hallway.
me.
Oh,
I
thank
think
God.
people are going to notice also that randomize all has a tendency to make maps a pretty big size and also
I was
pretty
gonna
hard
say,
and,
this,
and
this
unpredictable.
room right here is one of the biggest rooms I've ever seen playing the game. Like, just this room I'm standing in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, go away.
Yeah, randomize all has some interesting ways of treating the player. Either it's face roll, or you're just gonna get instantly destroyed.
Face roll or pub stomp?
Yep.
Yep. Which I love. I like randomized stuff like this. So
Oh my God.
I
please
think
finish
it's great.
charging.
Yeah, I guess that's a general comment to for the consumer. It's like, I think most people are used to at this point that shooters are like a power fantasy, and you're a badass, and you're powerful. This game sort of strays from that, in that you're supposed to be very frightened, and you're supposed to be, you're basically you're powerful with your weapons and such, but the enemy is endless and really dangerous at melee range. So it's really a boiled down the idea of James Cameron's Aliens. Like we got guns, we got sharp sticks, we got plasma guns, but if they got claws, right, and they're strong, so if they sneak up on you, then it's difficult.
James, you
And
cannot.
that's the
James, you can't save battery life. The only thing you can do with it is go to a breaker. Oh my God, there's a breach on top of this fucking data core. You can go up to a breaker or just interact with like a data core or something to get some back, but yeah, you gotta find a breaker on the wall to hug. Oh my God. So yeah,
you got
James,
a little
come
bit
here
more
and use
battery
the
life
data
now.
core.
You got 90 seconds.
you right click is interact with stuff, James. Maybe James doesn't know that. But yeah, run up to the data core and right click it to interact with it, just like everything else. Oh, good.
Oh.
Fantastic. This is what I
level
want. Oh,
the
thank God.
off the
and
power.
and James' team killed me.
James,
James, it looks like you need
this
to
is
get
a
to
rough
some repair.
this is
Yeah, this is a rough one.
a rough it's a rough intro for new players. Also, it's like, what the hell is happening? I don't know what's going on.
Meanwhile, Vanilla is just running around carrying the team with all the data cores. I don't know where Aiden is. Oh, Aiden's
Hey,
on the
I'm
door.
getting
He's about
data
to
cores
break.
too. Yeah, there's
Yes,
a lot
James,
of them
this
behind
game is
this one.
very scary. If you watch the Let's Play, again, you've heard Luigi. Oh my God, I can't believe I lost all my
There's nothing
again.
it's quite as satisfying as watching a door break and just unloading into a hallway full of aliens.
Oh, this room looks healthy. There's a lot of body parts in this room. Oh, that's why. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys find the last two data cores, because I'm chilling at the reactor right now. Just turn on every laser grid.
I'm pretty far. I'm 25 meters. 20 meters. Oh, I think I got it.
Oh, hello, Aiden.
Yeah, it's in this hallway over here.
Oh, somebody's dying.
Oh,
vanilla.
Wait, oh, okay.
What are the numbers above the doors? Do they have any significance? That's a good question, actually. I don't think they do, but Obviously, you can answer that better.
They yes, it's a nerdism. They're actually the map is 33 by 33 tiles in size, in maximum size, and so it's the number on the door is the one-dimensional offset into that. So it's the
Got
tile.
it. That's awesome.
So some people have realized that you can actually know where you are in the map based on the door ID, right?
Oh, cool.
Oh, interesting.
If you're used to thinking one-dimensionally, like if you're in an image editor in Photoshop, you're like, oh, I'm an X at 5 and Y is 9, right? But that there's also it's vertical offset times map width plus horizontal offset.
Oh,
right.
So Sarah, here's the thing. So when you look at a door, it has a number above the door just as is, but when it flashes when aliens are hitting it, that number is health. When you see the % sign, that's the health of the door, but normally it's not showing the health unless it's actively being damaged.
All right, I got the last data core.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to open
That's
the
true.
reactor.
You can also see it on you can see door health on the door opening little box on the side. I guess I feel
really?
like
The little door button
maybe
has health. Interesting.
Yeah, it shows health. I think maybe the doors should show health all the time. Maybe that would make the game a little bit easier. There is that sort of animation of the door being slowly buckled out of shape, but yeah, sometimes it's like if it's on 6% and you don't really see that, and then it gets hit once, then the monster's coming right through. Yeah, so that could be a little bit clearer, I guess.
Oh, great! Look, who the fuck shot me? Who just shot
It wasn't me. I'm not even near the
fucking
coolant.
Vanilla, why did you shoot me? The power went out and Vanilla instantly just turned and went brak.
You're scary, dude.
Oh my god, and he used it to repair!
It's interesting.
What the hell? Oh my god, I'm
so
the one
interesting It's so interesting to be hearing the audio in basically in real time, but be in the video delayed like 30 seconds. Well, it's not 30, it's like 10 or something like that. I'm like, and Tim is like, oh, somebody shot me. I'm like, oh, this is gonna happen.
Yep. James, I highly recommend turning the sound down if it's too loud, because there is definitely a playable level, and then there is a, oh god, the aliens are screaming in my ears level. Alright, fuck it. So here's a question, because we've never run into this before. What happens if I turn off this reactor, and one or more of us cannot find the way back to the airlock in time, but there are people who are safely in the airlock? Does the game treat it as a failed mission, or...
Yeah, everybody dies.
Okay, so everybody has to make it back, or everybody dies.
Space Marines leave nobody behind.
It's a team effort, right? So if you're in that situation, you'd better run into a fence, man, because otherwise your friends are gonna go with you, right?
Time to let the aliens eat me so they can go.
Yeah.
Right,
if you haven't yet seen the complete overload sequence, then you might sacrifice yourself just to see that.
Oh, is there
It's kinda
actually
cool.
like a thing at the end? I mean, we've seen it turn
totally.
like super white and like and like. Oh, also I'm dead now because you guys are blocking me out of the fucking airlock. Let's just start killing everyone.
Yeah.
Leave me.
The airlock. If you think about it, the airlock is like it's sort of 1.5 tiles deep, and if you're not actually standing on the innermost section, it won't trigger. So sometimes people stand right in the door and like, oh no, why doesn't it quit? Yeah. So that's sort of unclear.
Yeah, I have noticed that I think it actually came up in the Let's Play when we were all standing in the airlock and we're like, why isn't it ending?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, for anybody watching, to swap weapons, tab is weapon swap.
Yeah,
by
the
default.
The keys are rebindable by now, I think.
Oh yeah. No, I know.
Want to.
That's why I said by
It's
default.
in the settings, yeah.
All right, only
default,
15 data cores. This is but there's infection. That's good.
Oh God.
I will
Yeah,
say
the infection is quite the thing. So, how does infection work? Because I noticed that when there's infection, some of the aliens they kind of go into like stasis or whatever.
You just chill on top of it.
Until you get too close to them or you shoot at them.
This map
Can they spawn in infestation or?
I don't know. Should I be talking about the inner workings of the game? I guess I should.
I guess if you want
yes.
to keep it to yourself, you can.
No, it's the case
Oh.
that the infestation.
I got one.
It depends on map settings and such, but yeah, there is a chance that the monsters that are walking around in infestation, they can choose to go into a lurking mode.
Ah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and then what happens then is that they go immovable, right? And then they won't attack their player or trigger the player until you're very, very close to them. So it was very interesting when I implemented that, because like the infestation was like a mood piece. Of course you got to have it because it's spooky, right?
Oh
But then when I
God,
realized that I could actually
Oh, thank you.
use it as a gameplay thing,
Mhm.
it like the first update when I put that in and people realized that they walked around a corner and walked right into a monster that was right in front of them, but they couldn't see it because I obviously repainted all the textures so that the infestation and the texture of the monsters are very, very close together. So it is camouflage, right? So try it. Why don't you try a map that has maximum infestation and see what happens?
But I don't wanna. Like, that's scary.
Yeah.
I do believe that is entirely the point.
No, I disagree.
Yeah. And it is the case, obviously, that when they are stationary, they don't show up on the motion tracker.
Yeah, that is. Oh God.
Of course.
Um.
And those of you who are astute, like who are big fans of James Cameron's Aliens, that's the first kill in the movie. There's a Marine who's backing up and she says, maybe they don't show up on infrared at all, and then boom.
Bam.
And
Ow!
that's-
God.
Yeah.
Seriously? Did I just zap myself? Oh, God.
So I was very happy when I was able to make that, like, get that. It's a procedural game and it's a simulation. It's not scripted or anything. But it was very interesting to be able to sort of get that feeling into the game where all of a sudden you walk into this infestation and you know that my instruments aren't helping me anymore. It's like I have to use my eyes and I have to look for shapes.
Right. Vanilla in chat brings up a good point that kind of leads to a bigger point. I would like in the sequel to see like Marines get turned into traitors or something if they get killed by certain alien types. Like obviously, you know, Astro Creep is kind of face hugger-ish.
Yeah.
Have you thought about like in a sequel or something like that, a mode where maybe you can play as the alien, kind of like again going to Left 4 Dead, the like take control of the AI mode and like be an alien and run around and try to murder your friends. Wow, that scientist is
that was
really cool
even
boy.
certainly something that I thought about, like at the beginning of early access. That you just make this big list of what could you do with this game,
Right.
and certainly play as Space Beast is it's one of those things that comes up. But thinking about it some more, I think
Oh,
it would actively.
Sorry.
I think it would actively dilute the fear you have of the monsters
Well,
if you were able to play as them.
Breaker.
That's just my opinion.
Also, Vanilla
That's
just
fair.
died because the power went out, and apparently they that's gonna be an oof for me, dog. We only have 3 data cores left.
Yeah, there's one right here.
Oh God.
I gotta say, the camouflage on the aliens works very well sometimes.
Yeah, there's
Like-
a feature in Photoshop called match color. That's what I used. So I matched the color of their textures to the infestation textures, and that's how camouflage works, man. It's the same color.
I just like the simplicity of that answer. It's not like, oh, you know, I went for like a 5% difference. It's like I used the paint dropper tool in Photoshop and grabbed the exact same color.
Hey, it
Yeah.
works.
Don't
it
let
works very
game-
well.
Don't let game devs
Oh,
tell
look,
you that
an alien
that
chilling.
everything is painful and difficult. And sometimes you just have to be smart.
Oh, there's an alien just chilling. Get blown up. Infinite Destroyer in chat actually brings up a good point, and I'm going to expand on it a little bit. He says, oh my God, are you serious? Right? Oh, I see a breaker.
Yeah, I have one.
Is there any possibility of cameras being dotted around the map that you can look into to get view of other areas? And I think that's actually it seems kind of reasonable considering we already have the split screen mode where we can look through our allies like I have on the side of my screen right now. But is that something you've thought about or considered
Yeah,
at
are you
all?
thinking like?
Like
Are you
if
thinking,
you
like,
if you went
there's-
into the
there would be,
map
like-
room and there's like camera, like a couple monitors or something in there. Oh my God, are you serious with this room? Like maybe the security room also
technically,
has some cameras
you
or
could do
something.
it. Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's technically possible. I think, I guess the game doesn't have like very high system requirements to begin with. I think that's why it's possible to do the full like the picture-in-picture rendering there.
I
But
gotta
yeah,
say,
stuff like that is certainly possible.
I know we talked about it when we were talking about the game the other day, but just to put it out there, that is one of my favorite features in this game. Because as someone who grew up with an N64, and didn't have a ton of friends to
Right.
play split screen with, and I think one time in my life I got to do a Halo LAN party.
Right.
I love the feeling that I could just press 4 and feel like I'm playing on one screen with everybody else, or 3, you know, with the split with like the down below. But my personal favorite is like
Yeah.
the full screen with the tiny preview. But it's so fun to do to do all that stuff. Damn.
Yeah.
What- James.
Yeah. Like, thanks for showing those. Thanks for showing those. If you run with 4 for a while, I think people will figure out how completely sensory overloady
Oh
this
God,
game
yeah,
is.
no,
you
no,
know?
no, 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 I'm not doing that. I can't do that for long.
But yeah, that feature that right there it's designed. It was originally developed for couch co-op because the game has
Right.
local co-op support, so you can play with 4 Xbox controllers or 1 keyboard and 3 Xbox controllers, that sort of thing.
Well, I hope we can figure out the way out of here. Oh, Aiden's already at the frickin' exit. What a jerk.
Hey, I'm holding the door open because I'm a gentleman.
Yeah, whatever.
Could I request maybe more of a specific setup just for the next map?
Sure.
Sure.
Suppressing fire. Is everybody in the pod? Oh no, it's not. Okay. Oh my. What the fuck? Open up!
Oh, what? How did I die?
Hopefully you got crushed by the airlock. I don't know. Did you get shot by James? He's the only one in the airlock with you.
No, there's nothing in the feed.
All right. So what are we doing?
That was strange. Okay.
Okay, I'm still a little bit lagged. I'm looking at some sort of chaos outside the airlock right now. Okay, right. So let's go with random seed.
Okay.
And
Oh look, it
let's
defaulted
turn
to
off some
total
stuff.
infestation. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You don't have to do total infestation, but you can do
Oh, no, we'll do
more
total.
infestation.
No,
I
we're
think.
gonna do.
We can do total. Yeah.
If
yeah,
we
but
want this to
turn
be
off the
miserable, we
doors.
might as well make it miserable.
Yeah,
Alright.
turn off the doors, turn off the sentries, turn off the fences.
Oh no, Tim's
God.
favorite.
But I need my fences to feel safe. Like I don't feel safe without my fences.
No fences. You can have more armories and you can have more repairs if you want to, but you don't get no
God.
barriers, you don't get no sentries.
What about rooms? I've never fiddled with this one that much. The empty filled or pillars.
No, that's sort of a. It's subtle. It's like if the algorithm happens to generate like really big wide open rooms, you can fill them in or you can have empty. If you want the really claustrophobic feel, go with filled because then you only get corridors. Pillars is
Okay.
like these pillars in the big rooms. If you want really big rooms, which are really hard to deal with, then go with empty.
We'll go with pillars. We'll do the medium. This is actually a great question from John in the chat. Does the game have an official game Discord for people to go in and meet other people and do voice chat with them?
There is no official one, but I think there's a sticky post in the forums where there is one. It's
Gotcha.
not like it's not sanctioned by me, but it's not like I think it's great that it's there. I've actually never been on it myself, but there is one at least. I don't know how active it is though. You can't go easier difficulty, by the way. You have to go like harder.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Of course. Why?
And you need to have some sort of power failures. I think you should just reset the rules options and then look at what you got there. You can turn off the astro creeps
hard
if you
and
want to.
50%. Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, hard. I think hard is sort of my default, but you can try by resetting the rules option and see what you got. Yeah, you can
This
turn
is
off the.
fine. Oh, astro creeps are on. Good. And
Yeah.
oh, good.
Yeah. What
Um,
about random breaches? That's hard too.
Oh, good. Anyone in chat who is there anyone in chat who hasn't had the chance to play yet? Because I would love to take this opportunity while we're starting a new mission to swap out if James or Vanilla if there's anybody else who hasn't had the chance to play. Because I don't know how much longer we're gonna go, but as many people as we can get to play on this stream as possible. But we'll see what happens.
On the other hand, running with these settings as your first experience might be a little bit
much. All right, Vanilla backed out. So Piotr, if you want to pop in, I don't know what you are on in the game. Feel free to jump in.
But this is on Tim and Aiden to save the team here. Like, I want to see you guys win this.
All right.
Sarah, I'm sorry you didn't get the chance. The game was actually on sale during the summer sale for $8, not the normal 15. So, but I'm sure someday.
Yeah, I certainly jump on the chance whenever there's a sale. Then I always participate. Sadly, I don't know when those happen, and when I find out, I'm obliged not to tell anyone because that's proprietary information.
Are you allowed to do your own independent game sales, or no? Is there a threshold or something?
Yes, I am definitely, and that will certainly happen. Like, I keep saying this in the years past, but like, I am very close to finish now, and there will be a release date, sort of like when I call it 1.0, when it gets out of early access. Certainly, there will be sales going on.
Before we start, James has a good question. Will there be more than 4-player mode or co-op? Or do you really like the 4-player?
Not for this product, mainly because of the support for local co-op and split screen.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't think that anybody wants to see 4x4 split screen, for example.
That'd be a trip and a half.
Well, maybe that would be cool, but no. Then there are also a little bit of like bandwidth implications. The new network code that I'm working on will hopefully significantly lower the bandwidth from where it is right now, which is a little bit high. I think if the game didn't have split screen support, then it would probably make more sense to do more players. But with the current situation with split screen, I don't want to mess with that.
Right. And then another quick question from Sarah: will the price go up after 1.0? A lot of early access games do this.
I'm gonna say no. It won't go up.
Nice.
Because I don't really see any reason for that, and I also like. Obviously, the people who opted in the beginning, like way back in the day, 5 years ago, they've been getting a lot of upgrades for their money, obviously. But I'm also feeling very, very appreciative of the community and appreciative of the fact that people are still interested in this thing after so long, and so I'm feeling quite a lot of love just for the interest in this game. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stick with it.
And I honestly think
if anything,
just personally, as someone who's played the game a bunch, I think $15 is like the perfect price point for this game. It's not so much that people are like, oh my god, like the price isn't so high that people feel like they need to get a lot more out of it. Because obviously you're a one-man crew, so it's a lot. There's some things that, like, if there was a team or something, it'd be a lot more understandable to have the price be higher. But this price point seems perfect for a game like this. It's not a game you play, for your entire life. You play other stuff, but this is a wonderful game to sit down and have fun with friends with. And $15 is more than reasonable for an experience like that, I think.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I think personally, I don't think that the price should reflect the team or the cost of the company. That's their problem.
No, certainly,
not the
but I'm just
problem.
saying as like a factor. All right, let's go.
Yeah,
Time
but
to die,
yeah,
everybody.
I think a comment on that. One of the things that is really great about Steam and early access and being an indie and everything is that something like Steam with digital distribution, it allows you to make games that are big or small, right? Which wasn't necessarily the case back in the day. And I have always felt that this idea is rather small, and certainly I feel that the price should reflect that. But it's also great that it can be small, and I think people are okay with that. The people who understand the game, they're like, yeah, it's a small thing, it's a pick up and play, it's not the epic campaign of your lifetime, and it's a good thing. I think it makes me happy that that's possible.
These rooms are so fucking huge. Oh my god, this is horrifying.
This is going to be difficult to deal with. We're doing okay so far,
you
though.
have the Astro Creeps on.
Oh yeah, Astro Creeps are flying right at our faces.
Yeah.
All right, we only have 8 data cores.
So, yeah.
Oh, nice. I have full battery. I never noticed I got that upgrade. Oh, is this a dead? Oh, fuck! I found a dead end with nothing. John says in chat, I love the way the split screen and everything works, but I could also see now that the game has online multiplayer, having access to more players would be a ton of fun. Which I can
think
agree with. All right, let's see this map.
looking at the because I'm looking at the network code right now, I think that's probably pretty valid. I think once I get it all working and I look at the actual bandwidth usage, then I'll see if that might be a possibility.
Well, Vanilla just
Obviously,
died because I
there's
think he was talking in chat.
Yeah. Obviously, there are some implications of just like physicality, because people are like, "Hey, man, they're so big and bulky, and you can't fit 2 people down a corridor," which you technically can. But imagine what would be going on with friendly fire and everything if there were like 16 players or something.
Oh God.
Who knows? It might be amazing fun.
Right. One of you guys stole the. Oh, Aiden,
I didn't try to steal them.
Oh, you did.
They just
Oh, Vanilla left.
obviously feel safer with me.
Oh, what? Well, that's interesting. That's
What's
new.
up?
I just got an error I've never seen, and it's about to show up on screen. Huh. This is a new one.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that in the forums, and that's one of the things I need to fix.
Wow,
As you see
I
here.
have never run into that before once.
Yeah,
I had a network error, Aiden, and you probably couldn't see it, but I had a network error.
yeah,
Wow.
it just kicked me out.
Well,
too.
no, I kicked you
obviously.
guys out,
Yeah.
but...
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. I mean, I was winning, but okay.
Oh,
I would-
Piotr,
I would-
you're vanilla. Got
I
it.
would just
I was winning. Are you
I
winning,
would suspect that was because of somebody dropping out. Might have been the case.
son? Piotr says he's still playing, so it looks like he somehow broke out of the mission and started his own universe.
Oh, okay.
So we'll wait for him to
Interesting.
quit and rejoin,
Well,
or
again-
someone else to join, and then we'll take another crack at this impossible bullshit.
Yeah. Again, I wanna improve the netcode, just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've put 10 hours in the game, and that's like the first network error that we've come across.
Yeah, that's the first like hard issue. I mean, obviously, there's been like in the Let's Play and stuff, there was like, oh, someone lagged a little bit and teleported and fired their gun for a while and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
That's a them
There's
problem.
the issue of the
yes,
yeah. You can see it on this stream as well, that the host has issues sometimes, that people have like infinite fire rates.
right.
And also some people have complained about the fact that with some of the ways that the lag compensation is working, that the astro creeps are a little bit hard to deal with.
Right. James, you can kill scientists, and I believe they can get killed by aliens, right? I haven't actually seen that yet, but I'm guessing they can get killed, or no, or do the aliens ignore them?
No, that's the case. The aliens prefer scientists.
Oh, okay, cool.
They taste better. Yeah.
They have that soft, they don't have the hard muscle, they have the soft, flabby scientist flesh.
Yeah, that was one of the things I just didn't get around to. I was like, okay, I wanted to have some sort of like horrible evisceration scene when the scientists get eaten. But, the first implementation was just when the alien touches the scientist, they explode. And I was like, okay, that works.
I gotta say, I know it's mostly just because of how the game is set up and works. But the first time I was standing next to somebody who got eaten and I saw their character model just start having an absolute meltdown was pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah,
my
it's
God.
like it's certainly the case that it's really down to like artist resources that like that there's some infinite fire going on right there.
Oh God, that's a breach.
When we built the character model, I had some artists working for me, and that was one of the big jobs to do. Like, let's build our own character model. It's such a luxury to be able to do that and
there's
make it look
so
the way
many-
I want it to. And then animate
dead.
it. It needs to walk. It needs to stand. So basically, the only thing you can do is walk and stand, and there's no real fire animation. And that's what I had. So I was like, okay, now we need a death animation where he's like flailing about and getting dismembered.
Oh, what
Don't
the?
have that. So
I don't
it's
know where
like
the fuck that guy came from. Aiden, you're the only one alive right now.
It's fine, I got it.
So the approach on an indie shoestring budget is to, it's more like, you know, when you're a kid and you're playing with your action figures and they're like supposed to be beating each other up.
Right.
You
You
like,
just pick them up and smash them
back
together. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me, and it just makes me so happy to see that. Like you can treat this game as like it's
there
a
went
bunch of
Aiden.
action figures, and it's like, yeah, it's sort of silly because it's already silly. Just like look at each other, you look completely ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And
even
the
like
way
the
that-
faces in the mask totally plays into that. Like these big
Yeah.
grinning faces under these big bulky space marine looking bodies. Like, it works perfectly.
Yeah. And
Or
I
the
guess
fact that
for
they're-
me
even though
personally,
when
it's
you-
a little bit.
Like even the fact when you have different guns, like there's only one gun like there's only one model of character and guns. So even if you change guns, it's like, yeah, you just are saying, hey, this gun is totally the Razor, but you only have the one
Yeah.
gun for your character, so you can't actually change it.
It has to do with a number of things, like, but a little bit for me, it's a little bit of a revenge trip for me because I come from the super high fidelity Swedish games industry where everything is like super high quality, and I was like, it's just so much fun to be able to be like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter, and it also harkens back to like the first Quake game
Right.
where the animations were like really stupidly crappy and silly and big and bulky, and they also had the unigun because they didn't have the technology in 1996 to do that. Now we certainly do,
God.
but it's like I don't really have the development resources. Well, I could probably get it done, like outsource that, but it's
Oh,
like
I'm dead again.
I like the action figurine-ness of it, and
Let's give everybody
I
sensory
don't know.
overload
That's just
while
me.
I'm dead. No, I totally. Whoa, the camera went nuts.
I'm probably not gonna last very long. I can't find a repair station, and my flashlight's out. So.
Sick.
Also, that was a strange thing with the power right there, because it went out and it was immediately restored. Is there a % chance that the power comes back on without you flipping a breaker?
I would say that's a network artifact.
Okay.
Oh. My God, there's so many Astro creeps. So many.
Oh
Why
my
does
God.
trauma?
I think
why- Maybe this is a question you can answer.
Yep.
In chat, Sarah asks, why does trauma alert repeat so much during character death? Like, obviously the chat log on the left side goes absolutely batshit when somebody dies. Is that intentional or what?
Is, yeah, well, I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just emergent. It's more like what happens is like when you're being killed, when you're like lying on the floor and like flopping around and getting eaten, there's like I think there's like 13. I just made that sequence long enough so it felt long enough. So I think the monsters chomp on you 13 times, and so you get a message log for each time they hurt you or chomp on you. So,
No,
so
I
that's
think,
just
I think it's
what happened.
fantastic. I love that happens, actually. I think it's hilarious to see the chat log on the left just start scrolling like a maniac of the same, I'm dying. It's like someone screaming, except it's in text.
Well,
Yeah.
it
I don't
definitely
know,
doesn't leave it to the imagination what's happening. Everybody knows you're getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God, where are the...
Tim, did you ever?
Oh, dead again.
Did you watch that movie or that YouTube clip that I linked you? The one that was commenting about the way that Space Beast Terror Fright is like emotionally in sync with Aliens, the movie.
No, I didn't get the chance to, but... Whoa. Oh, the game
I
just
think
hard
you should,
crashed.
if you yeah,
That
it
was
looks like a crash.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just...
But
wow.
if you can link that in the description later to this video, I think some people would be interested in watching that because
Sure, I'll post it in chat while we're booting back up.
yeah, because the discussion was basically, I think the movies or the YouTube video is called Space Beast Terror Fright is the only Aliens video game ever made, and obviously that made me very happy and proud. And I remember like both laughing and crying and applauding when I was watching that discussion. But that it ties into the trauma thing because there's this analysis of the guy who made that movie is like the thing that Space Beast sort of picks up on from Aliens is like the sensory overload thing, and the scene in the APC when the lieutenant is watching 10 TV screens of people dying and trying to read heart rate indicators and things all at the same time. That's something that I sort of inherently wanted to put in the game. Like it's too much all the time, too much information,
Gotcha.
and try to deal with that. So all of those things that may have started out as like a repeat bug or something, and I was like, wait, but that sounds interesting and it sounds frantic and it sounds crazy, so let's keep that in there, you know.
All right, the party is back open.
It sort of needs to be said also that me as a designer, I guess I had a sort of high level idea of what I wanted to do with this game. But I think early access has really helped a lot because I tend to be quite reactive in how I design stuff. Is that it's very closely tied to the development process. It's like I have something and then I have an idea for something to put in, and then I try it, and then I see how it feels, and then I adjust, you know, from actual playtesting. So many times there are things that I think might be cool, and then you put them in there and they're like, oh, it's terrible, and it made it worse. And sometimes you just stumble upon things. Some things are happy accidents.
Right.
And I think that's a really
No, it's fine. You know, let the community play.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to let Aiden know.
No, it's just, I just wanted to. I think that's it's all of this. There's been so much serendipity to this project because like early access, I think, was just being announced at the time that we got greenlit, and it was time to like get this thing up on Steam. And I was like, yeah, you're allowed now to put it in early access, and here's our philosophy. And this is coming from Valve. This is our philosophy about like we really believe that software is better if it's designed in collaboration with the user. And that's something that me and some ex-colleagues, we've been talking about that since the early 2000s and doing a lot of indie stuff like that. And it's certainly the case in most of the rest of the software industry outside of games. It's like, that's how things get developed. That's how professional software gets developed. That's obviously how Facebook has evolved. Facebook is not the same as it was in 2006, right? So I think that's really great that Valve was pushing for that. And I think in this case, like most of the multiplayer stuff you're seeing right now would not have existed at all if it hadn't been for the pushback from the community. Right. Because the game was intended to have network multiplayer, but it wasn't really intended to be the prime focus. And now it's like people are telling me, they're writing to me in the forum, say, oh, this game is obviously designed to be a co-op multiplayer experience. I'm like, no, not really, but it's interesting that you say that. And obviously now I can't say no to that. And it's been really great. Like the way that the pub has evolved, going to drop in all this support for all this ancillary stuff. It's been driven by the community, and I'm thankful for the community, you know, to basically push me to make it what they want it to be.
James, in the chat, you're bringing up the fact that there are some very, very loud effects in the game when you fire your gun. If you go into the main menu, there are already options in there for reducing muzzle flare and things like that. So just make sure to. I strongly recommend anyone who plays this game boot it up one time in any level. Just run around for about 30 seconds and shoot and see how everything looks and feels, and then play with the settings in the main menu, because I have turned some settings down a lot over the course of playing this game. And some people, I'm sure, love them topped off and love the chaotic feel of it, and I had to lower some of the effects because some of them are a little too much even for me. So if something seems like too much,
I think
almost everything has a setting in the main menu that will help you help make things a little easier.
Yep, I can expand on those because the background, I talked to Tim about this before, but one of the things that I wasn't really prepared for coming into early access was, you know, this is 2015 we're talking about, but by that point, shooters were so popular and so ubiquitous that there is a culture of what a shooter is supposed to be, and there are a lot of things that Space Beast Fright does that stray from that. So I'm just looking at what Tim has been doing, just looking at the stream now. He's turned off his helmet, he's turned off his visor, and he's probably lowered the muzzle flash lighting effect, and also probably the amount of field of view modification, I'm assuming, Tim?
Yes. I don't think I lowered that to 0, but I definitely did lower it. Oh my god, everybody's dead.
Yeah.
And I'm about to die. Where the fuck is a breaker?
For example, just me playing with field of view in the code or in the game as an effect, that was very contentious because people on PC, they're like, I want my field of view slider. And I'm like, well, sorry, I'm borrowing your field of view and doing some stuff with it. Yeah, you can't see that now on Tim's stream here because he's lowered it, obviously. But yeah, there are some things that are like stylistically chosen to be very extreme in this game. And that's just for me, personally, I wanted to emulate the franticness and the chaos of the movie Aliens, and a lot of James Cameron's cinematography was strobing and shapes
Right.
in the dark and limited visibility. But I also wanted to be a little bit literal about it. Like, what would happen if you were firing these extremely heavy weapons in cramped corridors? It would be loud and blinding, and so it's a lot of aesthetics. It's a lot of my personal taste as a designer, and
100%.
but that's why there's a sort of tongue-in-cheek epilepsy warning in the main menu that says that this game will melt your face, and I hope people don't take that too seriously, because the game is self-aware. It's not taking itself too seriously.
No, but I do think the warning is good, because some of those settings I could actually see causing people issues at times.
Yeah.
There are a lot, but
Yeah.
for
So
some
I mean, there
people,
should
I'm
probably
sure
be like a.
But it's not like.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my god, don't buy this game. But as long as you play with the settings a little bit, it's fine.
Yeah.
Infinite Destroyer asks in chat, would you be able to create traps or distractions for the alien? It's kind of an increased, like, more non-lethal ways of dealing with aliens, kind of like maybe like a sound grenade or something like that, or just a room where you can turn on a device that sends out like a little confusion pulse, and like if they enter the area, maybe they get stunned for a second or something like that.
Yeah, I've certainly been thinking about like some sort of electrical EMP stun thing. Maybe, yeah, that might be interesting. Maybe not for this product. Like some of that is down to just like buttons on the Xbox controller,
Right,
which
there
has
are
to be
only
taken
so
into
many.
account.
Yeah.
But also, again, this game has been in early access far longer than I intended, and I don't want this to be a cop out, but maybe sequel.
Right.
I have certainly been thinking about some sort of fire mechanic, because that was very Space Hulk, like when you could set tiles on fire, and
the coolant.
it might be interesting in a game like this, like that fire would be a deterrent for the monsters. And then that's back to Tim's and everybody else's obviously idea about flamethrowers, that maybe that could be a suppression tool, or there could be some way to suppress aliens. But then again, having trade-offs like, well, if you walk through fire, you obviously take systems damage, and it's like laser fences in
Totally.
a way. So there are certainly a lot of ideas along those lines. But again, this stream is happening at a time where this game really, really needs to be finished, and
Right.
and we need to move into the bright future of having more space beastness.
James,
in
if you're
more
stuck
dimensions.
at the spawn, my only advice for you is open the door in man mode, because there is literally no other way out of the spawn than just ripping open the door and killing what's outside. There isn't really a choice here. James just messaged in chat, I'm stuck in the spawn. So yeah, that's about all I can do for you, buddy.
Yeah. Well,
And it crashed again.
the team could
Damn.
come back and save him.
Man, 2 crashes in one stream. That's wild. Never had any.
This has never happened before.
Yeah. Oh, and question from Piotr. That's good. Yeah, stress testing. Did you play the game Alien Swarm? It's and I can expand on that a little because I actually did. It's a free Steam game that they had put out years ago, and it's kind of a top-down aliens kind of game that feels a little similar to this. Have you ever heard or
Was
played
that
it?
the one? Was that like Unreal Engine 2, something like that?
Maybe. I think it was like a tech demo kind of game.
Yeah, I think there's one on Steam now that's made with a source engine called Reactive Drop or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is like the same team or some updated version of that. And in both cases, yes, I've played them. I think the older one was
Oh, it's on Source.
much.
Okay, not Unreal 2. Oh, right. Yes, Alien
Yeah,
Swarm
yeah, I
was
think
the, yeah.
Yeah. I think like the first one better, but yeah, certainly I mean, I'm such an aliens buff that I basically played everything, and
Right.
big fan of the AVP games. I'm one of the people who didn't think Colonial Marines was all that bad, but depends on.
Oh man, that's a
depends
live
on
stream.
the-
I
Oh,
wouldn't mind
that's
doing.
a hot take.
I would love to.
I mean, it's user expectations, obviously.
Yeah.
I would love to do a stream where we could play the old AVP 2000 because I've done multiplayer of that. I never played it back in the day, but I've played multiplayer of that a few years ago. Holy smokes, that is fun.
I would say that one, the classic one, I think that was it was appropriately hard.
Yeah.
I thought that was it was really a big inspiration. I think that game too, because it made you really afraid of the monsters, and even though you had your smart guns and whatever, it was still really hard.
Oh,
And
totally.
even even when playing as an alien, I think that was a really good implementation because sometimes I ended up like scaring myself. Like I walked around and I hissed or something, and then I got to turn this off now. It was like, and the Predator stuff too. I thought that the first one was really, it was uncompromising in the way that that franchise of movies feels like. And even AVP2, the one that Monolith did, better production values, really dark story, really spooky. So some of that stuff, people really got it. You know, they really knew what the franchise was about. And obviously, I'm leaning quite heavily on that sort of dystopian, sort of space horror thing with what I'm doing here. It in my mind, it's such a classic feel, you know.
All right, here's
oh
an
man,
idea.
look at
So
those
we're
like numbers. Holy crap! I haven't
Yeah.
looked at that for a while.
Yeah, so I just realized I've never done the Alien Assault Steam, the user map, but we're gonna try that out. So let's get a full party in here. We're gonna actually do the 100% completion map first to get ourselves leveled
Oh
up.
God.
And then we're gonna take on the Alien Assault map, and that's how we'll end the stream. We got another question from Revan though. So obviously Space Hulk is a big inspiration for this game. What do you think of the actual? Oh, it went back to private. I'm so sorry. What do you think of the actual Space Hulk tabletop game? Have you actually played it, and like, what do you think of it?
I haven't played it. I probably read the rule book.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty pure. I think that's really where the inspiration comes from. I think Vengeance of the Blood Angels, which was the game that I played, the PC version, was pretty you know, faithful to those rules and everything. So yeah, I geek out about Warhammer. I own the Space Marines Codex and the Tyranids Codex. I think those things are really cool. Looking at the Tyranids Codex, thinking about ways of making like the planetary invasion into a game, and thinking how many monsters would I need to draw? Like millions. Okay, interesting. But yeah, certainly the tabletop stuff. I think I have a lot of respect for designers of tabletop games because they are so mechanically aware in a way that I think those of us in the more interactive video game industry, we need to do our homework when it comes to that stuff. So certainly a big fan.
Just
to
for,
comment on this map.
Oh yeah.
I think this map was designed before there could be monsters in the panic rooms.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because there are. This is where Luigi did get. Oh my God, and Piotr just blasted that human, and boy, the Gibbs.
Could you please showcase the toilets in the panic rooms?
Oh yeah, with the stink cloud coming out of them. Yeah. What a sick toilet.
Yeah, sorry about that, but like I just wanted to comment that
No, it's
I think
fine.
that was one of the highlights of all of the development of this game when I realized that they're in the panic rooms and they're obviously very scared and they might be in there for a long time, so they might need a toilet. And then I was like modeling a toilet, and then I was in Substance Painter painting the toilet and putting disgusting handprints on the ring. I was like, isn't it just wonderful to be able to be an independent game developer and put this kind of stuff in your game? Because
Absolutely.
no one would ever let me do this if I worked for a big company.
Right.
So yeah, and then I realized I could put the stink in there too.
Just for James and Piotr, so this is a special map where we're just doing it to level up our characters, and then we're gonna do another user map, which is just massive millions of breaches and stuff. So this is don't worry about stuff unless it's in hidden rooms. We don't have to worry about like the only two actual breaches are behind laser gates, so we're basically just farming experience and levels and stuff here.
Oh.
Yeah, and that touches on something that Tim and I had discussed. That
Yes.
if you look at the maps that people are building, then it seems like the higher level thing is that people would like to be able to start with reasonably upgraded characters.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you know, it's the classic farming thing, right? So if that is the desire, then why not be able to put in like starting kits? So you can actually choose the upgrades that you start with. The game has, as many people know, has turned into like an options fest anyway, and I'm not personally averse to letting people play it exactly the way that they want to. So maybe that's something that, especially specifically kit mode, could get expanded into. Yeah, what do you want to start with? Do you want to start maxed out? That's fine, no problem. Do you want to start with maximum science? Sure, no problem.
Right.
Of course, there will still be the hardcore people who say that is, you know, that is
Oh,
wrong.
no, and-
but you know.
And like I said when we were talking about it the other day, like there's totally a thing for, just set that option to 0. Don't start with any extra experience. But then there's definitely times where it's like, okay, I really don't want to have to run through the grinding map again. Like this, don't have to boot up 100% level up.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't Diablo 3 have like a hardcore hero option now?
I haven't played Diablo 3
yes.
You can, like, I think if you die, you're just wiped.
Yeah, they
Wow.
delete your character.
I assume. Yeah. And that's really where the genre, if you talk about it philosophically, that's what this genre really comes from. Like Rogue, the old ASCII stuff. Like that was the idea that it
Oh my
would.
God, there's so many scientists.
It would delete your save file from your hard drive. That was the idea,
Sorry, I just have this red, yellow, and teal
Oh my
crowd
god,
of-
you have so many.
crowd of guys following behind me. Like a flock of sheep. Oh God, they all
maybe
just
we'll get
started
Ultra.
screaming.
Man.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's part of why I wanted to do this. Oh, also, these guys like to get stuck on this corner. Yep, there they go. This happens every time I've played this mission where they get stuck on the reactor in the middle, and I have to go around the corner and push him out of the way. Oh, or raising the
Yeah,
shield works.
that's true.
Yes, we
Yeah,
got
that's
Ultra.
true. I don't think that.
Woo! That's awesome.
I think that's
Oh,
that's like a
fuck!
bug. I don't think that
Oh
I don't
my
think the
God.
scientists can see the reactor shield. They just get stuck on
Oh,
it.
gotcha. Well, fuck whoever shot me, because if I lost all my upgrades right before we do the hardest missions of the game, that's really gonna fucking suck. At least I still have my Ultra
Well, you
bullets.
don't know, do you?
I have no
You don't
idea.
know
My
if you lost
entire
your
HUD
upgrades
is broken. I
because
was
your
a
HUD is on.
millimeter from death, Aiden.
I didn't shoot anybody.
Yeah, whatever. Fucking...
Are we all in here? Who are we waiting for?
James. James, come back. James, stop. What are you doing? Oh my God, James is killing himself. James, get in the pod. Get in the pod. I can't believe I almost got killed.
But you
James, why
didn't,
you
so it's
shoot me?
fine.
I hope Okay, hold on. Let me look at team statistics. Do I have my upgrades?
I'm
Upgrades
sure you're
lost
fine.
3. Sweet. I lost 3 upgrades. I don't know
You're
what they are.
fine.
All right. So here we go. The most upvoted user mission that is available, Alien Assault. So it's basically run around and collect metric tons of data cores while we survive as long as we can against about, how many breaches is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 breaches versus about that many sentry guns and us. Let's fucking go.
I think we got it.
Let's do it to it. The final showdown of Ultimate Destiny. All right, I'm going to start. Oh, cool. The map is right next to the... Damn, this is cool. All right, I'm going to go immediately out here and start turning on guns. Oh my God, there's so many breaches opening. Oh. Look at, they're opening one at a time. That's wild. Turn on sentry guns. Turn on sentry guns.
I'm going as fast as I can. Dude, they're already on us.
This is terrifying. There's no lights out here. Oh my God. Oh my God. There's so
Turn on infravision, dude.
Oh my God, I can't see anything. Oh my God.
Oh,
This
gosh.
is fucking nuts.
I feel like these sentries are just going to be able to deal with everything.
They're gonna run out of ammo real quick, though.
That's true. That is true.
By the time we turn on the last sentries, they're gonna run out of ammo, the first ones. This is nuts.
Is anybody getting data cores?
I think at least you are. I don't think anybody else is.
Yeah, okay. There's 40.
There's so many breach sparks over there.
That's something to be said about these kinds of user maps. Like, they're really good for stress testing the system. Like, have this much fire.
I feel like
and
I'm
this
getting
much...
a little bit of lag out here right now.
Probably, yeah.
Sorry, I have played Battlefront 2, and I played the campaign and never played multiplayer. Oh my God, there's so many alien gips outside. And the game crashed. No.
Oh no.
Oh man.
The stress test.
Damn, game just couldn't hand it.
Yeah, exactly.
Final question from Daniel. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna stop with the questions. Thoughts on having conditional map progression, like doors that need keys, or instead of going back to the airlock, opening a new section of the map once all breaches are secured? All right, Aiden, we're gonna do a private party. and try that one more
Absolutely.
time.
I mean, I think that the original Doom from 1993 is like, it will always be in my heart. It's the reason I'm a game developer, and that had like the classic keys. You need the red key, that sort of thing, and I really love that. Would be really cool to do. And I guess you would find it in a data core, or I don't know, or it's lying on the floor or whatever. But I guess there are some challenges when it comes to doing procedural generation of maps like that are sectioned off, and you need to be a little bit smart about how you would do that. So like, it's logically solvable as a map. But then again,
Well,
you know,
all of our
well, one of
upgrades
the
are
things
gone.
about me is that I want to be consistent. I want like everything in single player needs to work in multiplayer, and also I want all the rules that work in
Wow, the game
user
crashed
maps
already.
to also work in
Oh,
Damn.
single maps or in procedural maps. So, but yeah, maybe that is like part of the tool set of what the user maps could do. Maybe it's okay that there are things that the procedural maps don't do, but that the user maps could do. Who knows? I haven't really thought about it that much. But I mean, it's certainly not impossible to make a system that will generate a hierarchy. It's like, oh, here's the red section is sealed off. You have to go get that key, and then you can get the red section, and so on and so forth. I've seen some write-ups about theory on that kind of thing. So it would be interesting. Maybe not this product, again, maybe sequel.
lot of plans
I
for the
think
sequel is basically the takeaway for this stream.
Yeah.
Like this
It's
is
like
almost
now
a done
I'm totally
game.
screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I have to deliver on all these speculative ideas, but yeah, I think again, like I said, main goals for sequel are like expansiveness of worlds, more variation in worlds, bigger feeling, wider, scarier feeling, and also I think I've been working on procedural games like this for a long time, and I'm thinking that maybe it would be fun to have. Obviously, I'll have all of this great proceduralness, but it might be fun to actually think about doing some handcrafted stuff, like doing specific campaigns, and doing like more officialness. It's sort of like how games used to be back in the day. There was like this campaign that was very crafted, and then there was multiplayer that was a little bit more, open-ended. And I think, being of the generation that I am, I think that I've always wanted to do my Doom. And if this is my Wolfenstein, like we're talking 1991, then maybe the next one is my Doom. So I'm only 27 years behind the curve.
Awesome. One more comment just from chat before we go. Daniel says, amazing game, by the way. He got 20 hours in 3 days, which is impressive because I haven't even hit 20
awesome.
hours yet. But
That
anyway,
sounds like
yeah.
me when I picked up Minecraft the first time.
Oh, God, yeah.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
I think, though, we're going to call it there. We've been going for about 2 hours. That sounds like a great time to take a break. I know I'm getting really hungry for some lunch now. But Johno, thank you so much for coming. This was a ton of fun, having the questions in the chat and playing the game and everything.
Thank you for hosting, Tim. Yeah. Cool.
I think it's fair to say
Thanks for all the questions, community.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for everybody who asked questions and joined in and played. I think it's fair to say that we will definitely do something like this again. This was a lot of fun, and I would be more than happy to do something like this again. And maybe we can figure out how to do it with Steam or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe I don't know how crazy that would get, but maybe it would be great to have more people in the Discord so that questions and just flow a
I
little
think
bit more
next
naturally.
time we'll definitely actually set up a Discord and maybe figure out, like, have someone moderating it in the background, and don't want it to get too loud like some of my streams have gotten, where we get too many people in Discord and it gets a little loud. But we'll definitely figure something out for next time so that we can actually have some voice chat with other people going on and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. This was a ton of fun. Like I said, we're gonna end it here.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
And we'll be back. I don't think it'll be next stream, but I'll be streaming more, and we'll definitely figure out another SBTF hangout stream. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you guys later.